Good day to all men, women, and shrimps alike. This is the ProDigal Shrimp, and welcome to my very first video here on my channel. If you're here to learn art, I hope you are all ready to learn a thing or two from this video. But if you are here just because you got curious, then please stay and enjoy the process of how to create your very own character or avatar using Clip Studio Paint. Now, without further ado, let's get this shrimp art started. To begin this, let's start by gathering some references for this art. You will have to get yourself some references. These references that you are gathering is obviously your guide to creating your character, or heck, to all kinds of art that you would wish to create. Don't act like the stupid shrimp I was in the past that would just start drawing and would say, "Oh, it's all in my head already. This will be a piece of cake." No, please get yourself some references and pick the ones you feel are relatively close to the art that you are envisioning. Trust me, it will help you immensely, whether it be leaves, cars, clothes, etc. It doesn't matter. Just save them and don't forget to use them. Well, as you can see here, I am gathering a bunch of types of shrimps and characters that are wearing hoods and some examples of character design sheets to aid me to create a fantasy style shrimp avatar. After that process, I will begin sketching. Here I began by drawing a very simple shrimp, first just to get myself in the mood. Then for my second sketch, I started to make the design a bit more detailed. So I gave it big eyes to make it look a bit cuter, and sharper head to make it look closer to the real thing. And to add more character, I made him hold a stick or a staff. But as you can see, these two drawings that I made here are only simple practices I did before I could start getting serious in projecting the shrimp character I'm envisioning. Now this is where I start to get serious. I began mixing things from my reference sheet, from cartoon and illustrated shrimps up to the real ones. I used the parts I like and combined them like a patchwork Frankenstein-like process. You could notice that I started this drawing really slow and there are more corrections here and there. This is how I usually draw. Some pros out there can probably do this really quick, but I'm not one yet, so I'm taking it slow and steady. Plus, it gives me more time to think if what you're doing is correct. When I finished this drawing, it did make me think that this is somewhat good, but it was not really near to what's inside my head, so I put it beside the other two and started again. If you have the patience and a perfectionist to boot, then go ahead and do as much as you want, until you finally do the thing that you want to create. For the fourth one, this was the moment that I'm feeling the mood, and my design went so soft and quick. I picked a different style of the head here, opting to go small, and this already tickled my appeal. And so, I did a bit of experimenting to make it different from my previous drawing. I decided to add more hands to it, making it a bit realistic, but not too much, to maintain the cuteness. I was liking the style already, so I made a copy and I began adding the clothes to the shrimp. I returned to my regular speed here to feel out what I want to do with the clothes. I looked at my reference sheet again and slowly added the attire. I did this in a different layer, so I don't need to worry about erasing the shrimp when I make a mistake. The perks of a digital artist. I should be adding more variations for the clothes too, but I was feeling a bit impatient and I feel like I can picture the design already. Also, I just really want a simple cloth around this poor little shrimp. So I proceeded to go to the finalist rough sketch, but once again, don't be afraid to add some more variations or revisions to polish it more. That's what I did here, by testing things out again and going slow to process well what I'm doing. With this sketch, I went full creative mode and started to think harder about what style should be applied and where to improve more. The idea came to me that I should probably join the arms together. That way it would look like it only had two arms, but actually it has six. I tried to change the style of the eyes too, and it worked, so I kept it. Now for the tricky part, I will now add the clothes, and the style will be a somewhat worn out cloak with a belt strap that would carry the book accessory. With this, it will help me project a wise but yet lost looking shrimp that travel around seeking knowledge. This part right here is one of my favorite features of Clip Studio. You can quickly change the color of the sketch inside the layer using the effect bar. This helps me differentiate what I'm adding or not. Now I could just easily sketch over the shrimp and add the clothes. I made the sleeves longer for the left hand of the shrimp, completely covering it to lessen the details of the design. It also gave it more mysterious yet cuter vibe to it. Now I started erasing the parts covered by the clothes and turned the color of the shrimp's layer to its original and merge it with the clothes. With this, the sketch is pretty much solid. I got all the basics down. I will now just add more details here and there until I'm satisfied. But I should remember not to go too far. This is something I am terrible at. Sometimes I'm just too focused on one part of the drawing, and the next thing I know, I deck out the entire thing with too much detail that most of it is really unnecessary to the entire drawing. It's a complete waste of time, I may say, and effort. So to those who are suffering with the same issue, take a step back, zoom out, and look at the overall design, and think of the things that are missing here and there. Now we arrive at the part of the designing process that I both hate and love, line art. This is where you finalize the drawing, and you will have to retrace all the work again. It's a long and meticulous process, but it could also be fun because this is the part where you're going to make your lines cleaner, and it will give you the challenge of thinking ways to make your strokes more artistic. For example, you will have to judge well where you have to use thicker and thinner strokes in the drawing. Once you do this right, it will give your drawing a strong impact, and also it will help aid you where you should emphasize the parts with heavier shadows when you start adding values and colors. It just really takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. The only reason why I dislike this part. But at the same time, it is fun to do, and it gives great satisfaction when I finish the design with a very challenging line art. This is probably my first time not using a pen tool brush for this line art. Most of the time, I use a solid sharp pen tool for most of the line art I do. But this time, I use a high opacity pencil for this, just to give it a try. And I like how it turned out. It gave it a somewhat solid yet a not fully finished strokes due to the slight opacity. I really like how I draw the tiny shrimp legs here. Parts like this where I play around with the light strokes and heavy strokes are what makes drawing fun for me when I see it causing a good effect on my art. Now we enter into the coloring phase. Right now I'm still learning how colors work by watching tutorials on YouTube. So far, I'm getting a hang of it, and I've gone really far when I started as a graphic designer. I somewhat know most of the basic rules now, and thanks to the tutorials I watch, I know now what colors to pick, but most of the time, I still experiment and try to look at my reference collection for guidance. So basically, at first, create a new layer for your base color under your liner. If you want, you can do multiple layers, separating the base colors for the clothes, for the shrimp, and for the other accessories on the design. Or you can just put them all in one layer. It's all up to you. For this, I picked the latter. I was confident enough that I can control the colors well, and I also decided prior to this to use a multiply layer for my shadows. I'll explain more about the multiply layer after. So I just proceeded to color the shrimp skin here with 3 different colors. And afterwards, color the clothes and accessories with their own base colors. With this, there are not a lot of things to explain during this part of the process, so I will stop talking for now. But I will return to explain some of the stuff I did here and there. Okay, we finished the base coloring. Now let's talk about the multiply layer that I mentioned earlier. This layer is one of the layer effects that you could choose from inside the layer selection effects. With this layer effect, you can make any of the colors you put in it blend and darken the layer that is under it. For example, from what you can see here, I picked a low vibrant blue and started painting it over the drawing. Look at how the blue color, wherever it hits, turns into a darker version of the base color while still giving it a hint of that blue color. The effect is amazing and it makes shading very quick and easy. Of course, I could have also used a method where you pick out the darker shade of the base color from the color wheel to give it a precise color shading for it. But I enjoy adding a bit of color blue blend, and plus it gives an aquatic feel to it, so it works to my advantage. And now for this one, is one of the tricks of adding color to your line art to make it pop up like a highlight, or just to get rid of some of the line art that you think is unnecessary. Just hit the pixel lock layer right next to the locked icon of your line art layer and start coloring according to what you wish. Or you could just turn it off and paint it over using a regular brush tool. As for the highlights, at first I was planning to do the same process as what I did with the shadows by using the effect layer and picking probably the screen, lighten, or add effect. These effects would have given me the same result as what I did for the shading by just using the color above to blend with the ones below. But I realized that I want the lighting to be more varied depending on what color the light is hitting. So I chose the method of keeping the layer normal and just pick a lighter color from the base or completely choose a different color from it. And just choose to use the blend brush if I want to blend it. If I choose an effect layer instead, it might have given me a hard time getting what I want. Anyways, it's really up to your preference. There are a lot of methods you could use in digital art that you will discover the more experience you gain and the more you try it. Every time I gain a new method or a deeper understanding of what I am doing is another arsenal to my skill. So don't be afraid trying new things, and every time you try, it's another experience. Whether you fail or not, it doesn't really matter because you are learning something. Okay, this shrimp is pretty much done. I think adding more effects or anything of that sort would just be too much. I'm satisfied with this outcome. Now I will just have to make duplicates out of this and start creating different kinds of expressions. I managed to squeeze at least 4 shrimps in here plus the 5 rough sketches in this tiny canvas, where I should have adjusted, but it's too late now. Okay, enough with the self-criticism, and let's talk about why I decided to choose a shrimp as my avatar. Well, for the simple reason why I would like to depict myself as a shrimp is because I am shrimping over the Queen of Atlantis herself, Gargura. Anyway, been following her since a month after her debut. When I discovered her, I fell in love with her beautiful angelic voice, and since then I made a few fan arts, even a short comic that I am still working on right now. And most of my fan arts for the future would be focusing on Hololive stuff, so this is very convenient for me. Plus, I really wanted to share my desires to support the idols of Hololive. If I weren't part of the Broke Gang since the dawn of time, I might have sent them tons of super chats already to show my support. But at last, I am only a shrimp, who could only draw. So this is the only way I could show my appreciation to them. At the same time, I am using this as my exercise to create art and manga stories. With this, it will help me improve my skills, find my own art style, and exercise my storytelling, which all three needs a lot of improvement. Back to my avatar here, I just transferred them to a different canvas where I can save their PNG files. And at the same time, I added more expressions. The work is pretty much done here, and I'm just checking some mistakes if I did something here and there. And finally, after finishing the last few expressions here, I can now save them in PNGs. And with this, I have my very own avatar. I will now use this as my image for all my social accounts and here in my videos. I will definitely make some improvements with this in the near future, and maybe add a few more gimmicks here and there. Who knows? Please leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to record and upload more of my work on my channel. There will be concept arts, fan arts, manga, comics, and much more stuff that I would like to record and share with you guys. So look forward to it. Thank you for sticking around to the very end of this video, and thank you for not leaving after hearing some of my rants about myself. I really appreciate it. Once again, thank you. This is the ProDigal Shrimp. Back to my journey, and see you again!